Hello, Max. Come over here, Brian. Okay. Hello, Max.
Nathan took me, and then Nathan's like...
Where's his light right
It's right here. It's right here.
Oh, Brian, will you bring it over?
Howdy.
No, you're just gonna sit and talk in the camera, okay? Don't be nervous.
It's okay.
You need the stick?
Yeah, I got it. I didn't know how much.
Come over here, Brian.
Okay, let's get Gail out of the shot there.
This side.
Do you need me to hold?
Yeah, if you guys can clear the frame. It's okay.
You need the stick?
Yeah, I got it. I didn't know how much.
Is the volume up?
Yeah, volume's on.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Hi. And I am excited.
What is autism is a very good question. The frank answer and the honest answer is nobody knows. I would describe autism as a set of conditions that affects virtually every single thing about a child's life. It is a nightmare imposed not merely by all the physical challenges the child has, but it's also imposed by the fact that people are still so ignorant that these children suffer to the extent they do.
I am a young man in a verbal world. I am silent. My mouth does not work in the usual way. I have autism.
Oh, but let's listen to it. Let's listen.
Fine!
You're gonna go inside? You're gonna show me your house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out.
Okay, your turn.
I am ready to change the way people view us.
When you're told that your child has autism, it's hard to swallow.
Say hi, everybody. Yes, hello, hello.
We knew something was not right at around 2 years of age. She was speaking some words, but then all of a sudden her voice was no longer there.
We didn't know what to do. We kept taking her to doctors, to specialists, and they just kept saying, oh, she's beautiful, you know, she's young. And nobody would want to make that statement that maybe Kayla had autism or Kayla had some type of disability. Nobody would do it.
I didn't feel human if people call me retarded right in front of me.
Autism is on such a rapid rise that more children this year will be diagnosed with autism than children diagnosed with AIDS, diabetes, and cancer combined.
You gotta write your name, Steve.
David is a very exuberant young man. He's just a joy to be around. He's always happy. He just is eager to meet people and to go to school, and he welcomes anybody and everybody. He wants to learn, he wants to socialize.
He loves books, he loves markers, he loves to draw, he loves letters, the printed word.
Point to the giraffe, Steve, and count with me. Ready? 1. Say 1. Now 2. There's 2. Say 2.
We just need to find a way to help him learn. I mean, he's learning how to learn, and it's up to us to kind of help facilitate that and make sure that we're, empowering him and giving him the skills and the tools that he needs to succeed.
What do you need help with, David? Look. Here, David, look. Marker.
Yeah, the cowboys go to the rodeo. Who else goes to the rodeo? Who else?
Horse.
The horses? What else goes to the rodeo?
Whoa, that's good.
What do they do at the rodeo?
Horses.
Yeah?
That's good.
Picture.
Do you want to see the video the horse sneeze? We just had a lot of fun together. He's really sweet for being an autistic child. Everybody that works with him falls in love with him. They really like him. He gets along well with people when he's, comfortable with them. But I often think if there was a pill that I could give him that would cure autism, would I give it to him? I've asked myself that question many times because I love who he is now. And of course, I think I would give it to him because it would ensure a happier life. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to lose who he is.
Christian got diagnosed with autism at 2.5.
What are we supposed to do? Hop toward you?
He was already in this really early program for kids where they work specifically on behaviors. And I remember during this class, he would have a fit and he would flop to the floor. And one of the ways they instructed us is to wrap our arms around them in like a full body hug and start squeezing their joints, which calmed him down.
Having special needs family is really hard. It's really hard. And
well, you have to learn how to cry,
yeah.
that's for sure. And it's like there is not one thing we can take for granted. I don't want them to live their life with that struggle of competing for something or comparing. Why can't I be like? I just don't want them to have to ask themselves those questions, that they are what they are with strengths and weaknesses just like everybody else.
I want him to be able to talk clearer. I want him to
I
have
forgot.
speech.
That one's a good
I
one.
want him to have a voice. I want him to be understood the first time.
Or just a voice. I mean, maybe those are things that may not happen. I would love for those things to happen, but that he feels he has a voice.
Stop! We won.
We started noticing that she wasn't speaking. She walked really late. A lot of things that she just wasn't doing. Sometimes it's like this with Renea. It's a motor that's not, I like to say, that's kind of misplaced because her mind is going a mile a minute and you can see it, but it doesn't always come out of her mouth. And if it does come out, sometimes it'll come out not the way she wants it to come out. There's nothing wrong with the mind. It just has all this information.
Hey, buddy. Say hi.
My first child had Down syndrome, was born. It was a surprise. I wasn't ready to see any abnormalities in my second child for the first 2 years.
Okay, Mommy's gonna take all the candles away.
Jordan doesn't just have severe autism, he's in pain all the time. Being mostly nonverbal, when he's in pain, he digresses, he loses speech, and he gets swallowed by his autism. And so it's very hard for him. It's one thing when you're in pain, but it's different when your child's in pain. And if your child's suffering every day with autism and then suffering physical pain every day, it's twice as hard.
People think I am stupid. People think, why bother? It gets really frustrating being speechless. I express myself through negative behavior that no one can understand. I feel lonely most of the time.
How great is that suffering for him, that he can't communicate or connect to the world. And we're always searching for a way to get him connected.
When I was training to learn how to take care of children with autism, the prevailing thought at that time, which was shared with me, is that these children basically cannot communicate. Nothing was even remotely mentioned that they might have thought inside them which cannot be successfully expressed. I was a believer, embarrassed to say.
I can remember what it was like not being able to talk, and it was horribly frustrating. Because I also had problems with hearing hard consonant sounds. When the grown-ups talked really, really fast, I thought grown-ups had their own special grown-up language because it would sound like oing, 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 oing. And when they spoke slowly, then I could understand.
Okay, G? Where's G? Point to G. Where's G? See all the letters? Want me to read? You're at the park. We were guessing all the time about, you know, what does he want? What does he need? You know, especially when he'd get frustrated and we'd want to help him so bad. And it's like, okay, is he hurt? Does your stomach hurt? Does your head hurt? Does your ear hurt? You know, are you hungry? You know, we're guessing. And he'd get frustrated and we were just, you know, what could we do?
She was so frustrated, she would just cry and scream for hours.
We tried picture communication, we tried sign language, we tried a lot of different ways to get through to get him to communicate. I think if you have a child with autism, that's your mission. You're constantly looking for a way for them to connect to the world.
Well, what else do you want for your birthday?
All robots.
All robots?
Of course, communication is huge, and how that affects different areas of his life. I could only imagine what I would feel like if I couldn't get across what I wanted to get across. If he didn't like something, he would ram his head into your chin. So we always had bruises. I mean, this poor kid, I know he was feeling stuff, but he never could express how he felt. He gets easily frustrated, and he just can get very emotional about it and scream at us and run upstairs and have a temper tantrum because he's basically trying to say, slow down.
It's really hard for a mother not to be able to have a conversation. Oh, no. There are times I long for a conversation.
April 3rd, 2007 was a day that I'll never forget.
So we get in the car and Norm says, oh, Dr. Dave wants us to call somebody named Jana Woods, and he thinks Kayla can type, and I just kind of let it go past me. And I mean, I knew Kayla was smart, but I didn't know she could type. And we'll never forget that day because that's the day that Kayla says that's her real birthday. She calls it her real birthday. Kayla typed for 3 hours. I couldn't believe the things she was typing. It was so rewarding to talk to Kayla. I hadn't talked to her for 15 years, so there was lots to talk about.
I felt like I was in a prison. I didn't feel human. My mom never stopped believing in me.
Virtually every child for whom earnest effort has been made to assist them with either technology or some sort of communication support. Every single individual has shown remarkable capacity to express thought, to have inside them the ability to communicate at levels that we are shocked to encounter. And is shattering all of our models and our constructs as to what you can label these children as being. These children are normal. They're just like us.
I was the kind of kid where they can pound away on me with just lots of one-to-one teaching, and I became verbal. Then the other kind of autism is the one where the kid doesn't become verbal. This is where having the tablet that they can type on, that's going to be extremely helpful. What they're finding is that a lot of these people that are nonverbal, they've got a good brain hidden inside there. And technology enables them to, express themselves. And I think that's absolutely wonderful.
I want to say I think technology has changed my life. I can communicate with the world and I have choices in my life.
Nanny, you want to have lunch? Ready for lunch? We met this woman at the school that we go to now. She came to school one day with a typewriter, a little miniature one. And she said, I want to show you this. And she sat down with Renea, and Renea said, hello. And then she just, for the first time, we met our daughter that day. She told us how much she loved us. And she said, oh, I'm making my mommy cry now. And all kind of things came out of her that we didn't know existed. And my husband and I just wept because we didn't know that all this was locked inside.
From what I've seen in the classrooms and in our lab, it seems as though there's something instantaneous about touch screen technology. The kids take to it immediately. There's no mouse to move, to have everything just instantaneously respond to them. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely something powerful about that.
Overall, the students have had an incredible response to the TouchSmart. I can think of one student in particular who, for years, you'd get him in front of a computer, and you'd have the mouse, and you would just kind of shake the mouse, and just so he could just kind of look at the little cursor on the screen, and he would get stuck. You take the mouse away, he's able to produce work alongside his peers, where before he couldn't do that. Just for something as simple as he's just distracted by the cursor on the screen.
The child doesn't have to use a keyboard or coordinate his hand to hit some small space. Instead, these children can move their arm, their elbow, their shoulder, which is a lot easier for them, and they can hit the screen. This technology affords them the ability to enter into the level playing field.
My mom tried everything possible to help me break out of my lonely wasteland. I tried sign language. It was hopeless. I used communication systems that were useless.
We tried a lot of different ways to get through, to get him to communicate. My husband had been following touch technology and waiting for things to come out. We'd always hope something might come out that would free him. He heard about touch technology and he got one for our home. Jordan just keyed into that. He was able to get a tool that helped him break out of the autism. He liked that he could see himself on a video camera. He could hear his voice back, and that really helped him. He had breakthrough. He could read it out loud, hear his voice, see himself, and then read it again and hear it again, and it would get easier. And I mean, he was 14, so he hadn't spoken in full sentences until 14.
Hi, Mom, and how are you?
When I first had the video, I went up in my room and I played it for hours to hear it. So I didn't know if it would stop. I didn't know how long it would last. I could hear it over and over. I could never stop hearing it.
To know you want to smile, or to know you want to have an expression on your face, or to enunciate something differently, but to not be able to, has to be incredibly frustrating. But to have your entire existence be that kind of a battle, I have a lot of respect for these guys. It's got to be hard. I know what I've pushed these kids to do over the last 10 years. And most of the time not realizing what they were having to put up with to meet that goal. And I'm a pretty flexible guy, but I know I pushed these guys. But to understand how hard that was this whole time, I think it's very hard, very challenging, and I have a greater amount of respect for them than I did before. I think it's a lot harder than I realized.
Ready? He's definitely showing his personality a lot more now. He seems a little bit more comfortable with himself. So that's really fun to see. Yeah, he's a goofball. There's no doubt.
Good job, good job. Technology has definitely given David a whole new voice that he never would have had before. He's able to communicate with us. You know, he can tell us, I'm hungry. You know, I want raisins. He can tell me what he's hungry for. So it's made his life, you know, so much less frustrating and so much easier.
When he goes on the computer and does reading or math or drawing or whatever it is, it's fun, he's good at it, he knows how to do it, he knows how to click and log on. And
I think when he's in front of the computer, he feels really confident and he feels really good about what he's doing, and it's fun, and he's just a happier kid.
Jordan Ewell.
It gave him a new vision when he was able to type his words, because he was able to get a vision for himself becoming something.
For 10 long years I remained silent in a lonely prison, locked away in darkness as black as the universe is big. People think I cannot talk. To talk is typing my thoughts. But people don't really understand or accept me. People need to accept me and just be patient.
He says that a lot. Be patient, Mom. Be patient.
5 years ago, we wouldn't have expected her to be entering college, to be honest, based upon where she was at in her life and how things have progressed. No, we could have never anticipated or forecasted this.
Hi, Kayla.
Your mom and I talked about you wanting to take an English 1A class. I think you wanted to take another child development class, and you have another, a history class.
I want to say, I want to tell you, I want to take them all.
Technology has been the key to opening the door for her. Every day since her finding her voice has really changed our lives and been a great experience for all of us.
I want to say I want to graduate from college and become an advocate for my silent brothers and sisters.
It's wonderful to watch the jaws drop and go, I can't believe this. And I tell him, you stand there and you watch this. And you start changing because your kid has something to say.
I want to say I think I am so honored to talk with all of you today.
We are.